All right, I lost track of how many books are in this bag, these bags. I don't even know. Hey BookTube, it's Kim at Middle of the Book March, and today, as I promised, I have my library book sale book haul. I've two big bags. I lost track of how many books I have, as I said. So I'm just gonna pull them out of the bags as I go and show you what I acquired. Some of these were $1, some were $2. I don't remember. Two different library sales, and I think this will be it for this year and most likely the first couple of months of next year. Most of the libraries in the area don't have sales through the snowy winter, so I think this will be it for me. So I'm going to pull stuff out of bags and show them to you. This first one is, I think, this is a former ARC, but this author is the author of a middle grade book that I read and really enjoyed, so I thought I would give this one a try. This is Skin and Bones by Renee Watson, and she is the author of Piecing Me Together, which I read, and I really enjoyed that book. That was a Newbery winner. I'm not going to read all of the backs of the books, maybe a few, because I just would not have enough time. I don't like really long videos, so I don't want to do that. This is about Lena. She's finally getting married, even if it is at 40. She works tirelessly at a fulfilling job to bring the oft-forgotten Black history of Oregon to the masses, feeling fortified by the legacy Black Portlanders left for her, while also feeling burdened by what's been passed down generation after generation in her family. Lessons and values about faith, love, and beauty. And there's more description, but I'm not going to go ahead and read that. Watson is a poet, so when a poet writes a novel, I'm probably going to buy it. And I mean, what did I have to lose for that one? What's this one? Okay, this is a former library book with a sticker on it that I'm going to have to take off with Goo Gone. That works really well for sticker residue. This is Fire in the Blood by Irene Nemirovsky, who is the author of Sweet Francais. And this is a nice short little book. I actually love former library books with the Mylar covers on them. I do. I don't know why. This is written in 1941. The manuscript of Fire in the Blood was entrusted in pieces to family and a friend when the author was sent to her death at Auschwitz. The novel, only now assembled in its entirety, teems with the intertwined lives of an insular French village in the years before the war, when peace was less important as a political state than as a coveted personal condition, the untroubled pinnacle of happiness. I have several of her other books. This is another example of not having read any of this author's work yet, but hearing so many fantastic things about her that, yep, that's what I've been collecting. This is an unread paperback of this book that I don't remember, I may have owned at one point, and I may have unhauled, but I don't remember, so I repurchased it. Oh, this is The 7 or 8 Deaths of Stella Fortuna by Juliet Grames, and I think that's a very pretty cover, and it's unread and was donated to a library. For Stella Fortuna, death has always been a part of life. Stella's childhood is full of strange, life-threatening incidents, moments when ordinary situations like cooking eggplant or feeding the pigs inexplicably takes lethal turns. Even Stella's own mother is convinced that her daughter is cursed or haunted. It looks like historical fiction a little bit, but yeah. Okay, what else do I have in here? This is a newer release. This is a hardcover that looks unread. And I buy books from library sales that I may not have bought new or as it just was released, but I also figure I don't have anything to lose. No, this one isn't too recent. This is Here I Am by Jonathan Safran Foer. I believe I've read his book. Where is it? Motherless Brooklyn? Did he write Motherless Brooklyn? I don't remember. He wrote Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. And Everything is Illuminated. I think I read one of those. I don't remember. But Here I Am. This is why I bought it. because there's biblical references. In the book of Genesis, when God calls out Abraham before ordering him to sacrifice his son Isaac, Abraham responds, "Here I am." Later, when Isaac calls out, "My father," before asking him why there is no animal to slaughter, Abraham responds, "Here I am." So, how do we fulfill our conflicting duties as father, husband and son, wife and mother, child and adult, Jew and American? This looks really good. And you give me a novel. Again, here's another reason I'll buy a novel. You give me a novel with biblical references in it, I'm buying it. What else is in my bag? Let's see. Oh, this one. This is the 2023 Booker Prize winner. This is Prophet Song by Paul Lynch, a former library book with the sticker under the Mylar cover. I hate it when they do that, but hey, whatever. A couple dollars. I didn't think I was going to read this book, but for $2, yeah, I picked it up. On a dark, wet evening in Dublin, scientist and mother of four, Eilish Stack, answers her front door to find the GNSB on her step. Two officers from Ireland's newly formed secret police are here to interrogate her husband, a trade unionist. 2023 Booker Prize winner, Prophet Song by Paul Lynch. Why not? I'll give it a shot, right? Let's see, you can hear my bags rustling. Oh, this is an Everyman's Library edition. Love these books. I absolutely love them. They are very similar to Library of America. They have the ribbon bookmark, and they're extremely well-made books. This is a volume of Penelope Fitzgerald, Offshore, Human Voices, The Beginning of Spring. When I find an Everyman's Library book, yeah. Yep, I'll buy it. Throw that at me, I'll buy it. Let's see, the Booker Prize winning novel Offshore limns the marginal existence of an eccentric assortment of barge dwellers on the Thames in the early 1960s, a group of misfits who are drawn to life on the muddy river in exile from the world of the landlocked. Human Voices takes us behind the scenes at the BBC during World War II as world-weary directors and nubile young assistants attempt to save Britain's heritage and keep Britons calm in the face of a feared German invasion. And, in the beginning of spring, a struggling English printer living in Moscow in 1913 is abandoned by his wife and left alone to care for his 3 young children in the face of the impending revolution. Every single one of them sounds fantastic. So that volume of Penelope Fitzgerald. I don't know if I'm going to have time to show you all these, so I'm going to not read all of the blurbs. This is a Chris Bohjalian book, or is his name Bohjalian? I don't remember. The Princess of Las Vegas, a former library book. It's just in spectacular condition. This is about a party girl, basically. Chrissy Dowling has created a world that suits her perfectly, passes her days by a pool at a private cabana, splurges on ice cream, doesn't ever gain weight, transforms into a princess, musical cabaret, inspired by the life of the late Diana Spencer. So I thought I'd give this book a shot. I think I've read a few of his books. Don't always pick up everyone, but yep, I thought I would give that one a shot. Oh, okay, I did get some nonfiction too. This is a book I read many, many, many years ago and really want to reread. This is Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil by John Berendt, and we just talked about this book in our real life book group, that so many of us want to read or reread this book, and this was fabulous when I read it many years ago. When was this published? This looks almost brand new. This was published in 1994, so 30 years ago. Let's see. Oh, here's another one. Here's another one I've already read, but I want to reread it. It's been many years. This is a John Krakauer book that was published in, why can't I find it? 2003, Under the Banner of Heaven. This was fantastic. I read this with my book group. On July 24th, 1984, a woman and her infant daughter were murdered by 2 brothers who believed they were ordered to kill by God. This was a really good book. If you've not read John Krakauer's books, it's definitely worth your time. Let's see. This is a reread, and this is a heartbreaking book. The Last Lecture by Randy Pausch. He was a professor at Carnegie Mellon, and this is written with Jeffrey Zaslow. He had a terminal diagnosis, and this is a book for his family, and he writes all of his thoughts and everything in here, and it's just, it breaks your heart, but it is such a beautifully written, final book from this professor and author, and it's just amazing. This one I wanted to read for a while, and I think I tried to buy this on, maybe I didn't buy it, but I think I have a sample on e-copy. Why We're Polarized by Ezra Klein. This is, let's see, this is a very recent publication, 2020. America's political system isn't broken. The truth is scarier. It's working exactly as designed. Yeah. So this was one that caught my eye when it first came out, and I'm happy to have found it on the library book sale table. Okay, so that is one bag I've made it through. I've got one more to go. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is a Maggie O'Farrell novel. This is After You'd Gone, in paperback, and this is a Penguin copy. And it's Maggie O'Farrell, so I didn't have to read too much of the description. When Alice Reiki's sisters come to pick her up at the train station, they find her wild-eyed, confused, and insistent on returning to London that very minute. Only a few hours later, they receive terrible news. Alice is lying in a coma after an accident that may or may not have been a suicide attempt. Maggie O'Farrell, I didn't love The Marriage Portrait, but Hamnet was one of my favorite books of all time, and I love her writing, so I figured that's a pretty good find. And it's interesting because there is a sticker on the inside of somebody's recommendation, and it says, "Kinda trippy and a different way of solving a mystery. I recommend not working to keep track of each detail. Go with the flow." I thought that was awesome. This is one that was longlisted for the 2023 Booker Prize. This is In Ascension by Martin MacInnes. And this was on my radar at one point as well, if not only for the cover. I'm kidding. But the cover is pretty fantastic. So this one, Lee grew up in Rotterdam, drawn to the undersea world as an escape from her unhappy home life and volatile father. A talented marine biologist, she joins an exploration team investigating an unfathomably deep vent in the Atlantic Ocean. I'm not going to read any more, but I'm not always that interested in the Booker Prize books, but this one caught my eye. Over the years, several others have, and some of my favorite books have been Booker books. This one I purchased the other day with my daughter. I could not pass it up. I bought this brand new. This is a Penguin, what is it? Penguin, what's this type of edition? Penguin Deluxe Edition. And only because right now I am reading Ariadne by Jennifer Saint, I bought The Greek Myths by Robert Graves in this amazing Penguin Deluxe Edition. It's got comic strips on the outside of it. That's the back. And I just love mythology. Love it. So I saw this and had to pick it up. And I bought this from a beautiful independent bookstore, River Run Bookstore in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. They do have some used books, but it's primarily new. It's a tiny little shop. This is River Run Bookstore, riverrunbookstore.com. I don't know if you can see that. There we go, if it's going to focus. I don't think it will. But I will put that in my video. Yeah, but I got a bunch of these bookmarks. So I love that I found that mythology. I can't really talk very well. All right, I am not a big fan of Ann Patchett's novels, but I did find her essay collection, These Precious Days. And this is a first edition that's signed by her. This was at the library sale. And I'm like, well, who's donating a book that was signed by the author? Let me see if I can find her signature. Where did it go? It was in here. Oh, there it is. I'm going right past the cover page. There she is, right there. It's an essay collection, and I thought I'm going to give this a shot. Not the biggest fan of the novels, but why not? Oh, let's see. Everything's falling apart. I'm not going to show you that one. What's this one? Oh, Amity and Prosperity, One Family and the Fracturing of America by Eliza Griswold. This is nonfiction, and this is, I have an e-copy sample. In Amity and Prosperity, Eliza Griswold tells the story of the energy boom's impact on a small town at the edge of Appalachia, and one woman's transformation from a struggling single parent to an unlikely activist. I think I've seen this on a few channels on BookTube, and it looked really good. And I think this was $1 at the library sale. What's this one? Oh, Jeannette Wall's Half-Broke Horses. I read The Glass Castle, which was phenomenal, and haven't read this yet. It's a true life novel, which basically means this is autobiographical fiction. And I really loved The Glass Castle. That was a memoir that I think was made into a movie. This one I had years ago, unhauled it, I'm sure. I don't have it anymore. And this is, it looks like a barely read brand new copy. This is The Swan Thieves by Elizabeth Kostova. This richly told, beautiful imagined novel takes us on a journey into the lives of the women left behind by the renowned painter Robert Oliver. Look at that cover, man. Isn't that gorgeous? I read her book, The Historian, which I really loved, and there was another one. There was another book of hers I read that I can't remember the title of that I thought was excellent, and I'll put it down here in some text. Let's see. Oh, this is super, super heavy. The paper in this book is like phenomenally heavy. But there's pictures, there's photographs. This is a biography. It's a biography of Eudora Welty. And I would love to get through this book. Eudora Welty created some of our finest short fiction ever written. First published in the 40s, her stories introduced a genuinely original voice and launched a career that over the decades would include novels, novellas, reviews, and essays, and would culminate in a 1984 memoir, One Writer's Beginnings. I think it says, people think of her as a sequestered spinster, and the author is Suzanne Mars, and it says, Mars was close to Welty during the last 2 decades of the writer's life and made effective use of the material to which she had unparalleled access. It says basically that she wasn't like, a sequestered spinster, but she was a traveler and a shrewd observer of her times. I love literary biographies, and I thought that one is definitely worth a try. This one is The Crane Wife by C.J. Hauser. This has been on BookTube a lot as well in the last couple of years. This was published in 2022. 10 days after calling off her wedding, C.J. Hauser went on an expedition to study the whooping crane. After a week wading through the Gulf, she realized she'd almost signed up to live someone else's life. This is a memoir and essays. I'm all for memoir and essays, and this topic looked really good. She's trying to find herself and calling off a wedding 10 days before. I want to read her story. Here's another memoir. This is Mean Baby by Selma Blair. And again, I may not have bought any of these books brand new, but with a library book sale, what have I got to lose? The prices are amazing. The first story Selma Blair Beitner ever heard about herself was that she was a mean, mean baby. With her mouth pulled in a perpetual snarl, Selma spent years living up to her terrible reputation, biting her sisters, lying spontaneously, and getting drunk from Passover wine at the age of 7. So yeah, this is, she's a fascinating person. She has multiple sclerosis, and I think by the end of the book she talks about her diagnosis and the advancement of that illness. And I just got to the bottom of the second bag. I didn't even realize I was at the bottom. So those are all the books that I hauled from 2 library book sales in the last week. Had a blast doing it. My book buying will slow down. I do buy bargain books here and there and thrifted books, and my favorites are used books, so library sales are perfect for me. So let me know if you go to library book sales. Booksalefinder.com is where I find them all. I'll put the link to that in the description box below. And write me a comment, and I would love to hear from you. See you all in the next video, everybody. Bye.